idea is developing the synergy of will, love and will working together. We understand the will has to work with the power of imagination. Imagination is a very, very critical part because it is also feminine energy. The will has to work with the imagination how to create, design and define, direct and design to manifest in the reality. The imagination plays a vital role with the love. That's why I wrote in my big book, Constantly Create Creativity. Love, play with the imagination and will. They work together. Love, imagination, will to work together. If there is no imagination, very difficult to manifest in the reality. Then we can developing the synergy of power of will and determination. The first step is to remove the veils. We create the 4 veils. We knew the 4 veils would stop you to visualize the power of will and determination. Right? Second one is to know the hierarchy of will. Okay, now third one is to play with the desire. They play with the will and determination with the imagination to manifest what love needs. Right? My love needs to be to shift my gear from doing to being. At the same time, I want to that will play with the imagination. And fourth step is to create the manifesting energy. The will turns into manifesting energy. And I can develop my will and determination to create the 7 dimensions of manifestation. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present this one. I'm very, very grateful to you. Now you have a question.
I do have a question. So will, without imagination and without love, first, what does will become, or how does will function if it has no love and it has no imagination?
There is a bunch of talk. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to be successful, I want to be politician, I want to be actor, I want to be this, name and fame. But that is all will. And sometimes most of the will many times go the negative direction, the ego takes over. That is the ego takes over, then it becomes the egoistic, the will to power. Now we are using the will not to power, will to co-create, consciously create and co-create the reality. We are talking about creativity, not the power. Power follows you. Power, you don't have to work about the power. When power is a negative component and positive component. When you are will to power, to dictate other people, that's the negative, egoistic. Now power of will, to manifest in the reality, that is the self wants to do. That's why love wants the affirmation of self, and will as it gives the presence of the self. The power, you can use power word is a very common word, but it can be used negatively as well as positively.
So will without love or imagination, is it correct to think that that's within physics? It's within the space-time dimension, right? Will without love or will without imagination, right?
Now, will also is a state of mind, but it is all the intent of the will. First intent of the will to have a power over other peoples and power to succeed, power to have more money, power to have more fame, power to have this and that. And that is the will. It turns to egoistic, takes over the will. And when you become creative and co-creative and sharing, that's why I told the love is required. Love requires intimacy, right? And then it requires the presence of the self. Also requires the sharing with other people, dealing with other people. Also you need the caring for the people. Then the fulfillment also. And then in it requires all the joy and feeling. Because that is the beauty part of the best part of the creativity, is that you create the joy. When ego takes the will, power of will, negatively, there is a lack of joy. You feel good. I'm great, I succeeded, I succeeded this, I got this much of money, I got this much bank balance, I got this much of power, local claps paper. But that it depends upon other people. You don't have a secretary. That's why in my crystal temple of Goddess Lakshmi is a prosperity. Prosperity is the joy of loving and living life. We are talking of positive component of self.
So what I'm understanding from what you're sharing is that will, again, without love or imagination, is just a state of mind. And that the alchemical transformation happens with the co-creation of the feminine energies as well as this masculine energy.
That is all work together that creates a synergy of will and determination to how to manifest. That becomes the seventh dimension. Let me share the seven dimensions.